Birmingham, that's not going to stay the case as we head into about midweek, where we have a cold front triggering the threat for some severe storms. Danger for tornadoes building. There is a low-end chance at seeing an isolated spin up today, but really tomorrow is going to be the peak tornado potential. And still some questions about Wednesday. It all depends upon the storm mode. But it is targeting spots that have been hit recently with severe weather. You look at the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where they had big-time hailstones over the last couple of weeks. They had a couple of tornadoes as well, causing damage. Same story goes for an area like Wichita Falls. In total, just if you're looking at the latter part of April, we've had over 88 confirmed tornadoes stretching anywhere as far east as West Virginia to as far west as central Kansas and as far south right up against the I-10 corridor. One of the more prolific tornadoes being the Enid, Oklahoma tornado that ended up being rated as an EF4. First EF4 of the year of 2026 so far, and the first EF4 in Oklahoma since 2024. And that previous EF4 was in Barnsdall, Oklahoma, so kind of the northeastern corridor of the state. And that happened almost 2 years ago to the day, May 6th of 2024 was when that happened. But now these communities that are still trying to clean up, they're getting hit yet again with the threat for severe weather. Let's look into tomorrow's forecast, kind of what we're expecting to see. It's this cold front as it droops and slowly moves off towards the southeast. That's going to be the big lifting mechanism for these storms. Hail is the primary threat with this. But while today we might be somewhat limited in the storm energy, not a ton of moisture, one thing where we do not have a problem with in the forecast for the southeast is moisture. The Gulf of America is right there, and it just pumps in all of that extra water vapor into the atmosphere, and so it creates higher relative humidity, and that's one of the factors that goes into convective available potential energy or storm energy, and that's the values highlighted with the darker oranges and even the pinky tones. The energy does get a little more diminished the further to the north and east that you go, but still highlighting a zone of moderate on the higher end of instability for northeast Texas and central Arkansas. So Little Rock is another spot. This weaker upper level flow is going to get a little bit stronger come tomorrow. So today that's also a partial limitation. But for tomorrow, some scattered thunderstorms are expected as early as the afternoon. And then they'll become a little more linear as they move further off towards the southeast and the cold front starts to take over. Hail would be with mostly the discrete storms and that key zone for hail where you have more of the storm energy and steeper lapse rates. So in right along the Red River, central western Arkansas, and then also that threat for damaging wind, especially if these storms have that propensity to grow upscale faster and be less linear in storm mode. That's going to lend a hand to more of a wind threat. But a tornado or two can't be ruled out. We do have enough wind shear that's working its way in come Tuesday evening. I would say early evening. That would provide a few short hours in the Texarkana region for a tornado. Now let's talk about Wednesday here and what changes as the cold front moves. We've got a secondary low that will start to develop. So not only is there a low further towards the northeast, but this other low that's developing into central Texas. And that is going to aid in more destabilization, a little less instability again as you head closer to the northeast, but that high that's sitting over the Gulf of America, how it will move come Wednesday, that's going to help pump in a lot more of that moisture, a deep, rich moisture right along the I-10 corridor. So Houston, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, even into New Orleans, at least expect rain and some thunderstorms. The tornado piece of this is also a little more of a question mark, where if you do have more of a discrete cell that can stay and be more of a long-lived discrete storm, it does lend a hand to a tornado threat. But if they become more linear in nature along the frontal boundary, more of a damaging wind and hail threat. So the time frame on this is Wednesday, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice how we have a couple of discrete cells popping up into southern Arkansas. That would be kind of the ones to watch as it then moves into western Mississippi. So think the Delta, Tupelo, Oxford, Mississippi as well, and then eventually that frontal line extending all the way through early Thursday morning. And that's where we are going to talk about some extra rain for Atlanta and even into the northeast. The northeast going to have a soaking to finish out this work week, but thankfully it looks like the weekend should be actually pretty nice.